Hello, everybody. How you doing today? It is Wednesday, and we're going to be talking about After Effects. I'll take a look starting off with the website. So this was the post for Monday, and I'll go ahead and scroll down, and we'll look at the post for today and talk about some of the things I'd like you guys to do. So for Wednesday, we have a presentation due, which is Cecilia, and I'd like you to do your presentation and put it in your folder in Google Drive or PowerPoint. Um, And we also have a couple of tutorials as usual. So I'll go ahead and open these up. The first one is called Remove Unwanted Elements with Content Aware Fill. Now, those of you that are familiar with Photoshop are aware that Content Aware Fill exists in that program, and that is essentially the idea of taking an object that is in a scene and getting rid of it in a very easy way, maybe just making a selection and pressing a button, and then having the computer figure out everything that should be in the background if you want to get rid of that object. Well, so Adobe has taken that feature, Content Aware Fill, and added it to video. And so in this tutorial, you'll be doing something like getting rid of this van in this photo of the pyramids, or this video of the pyramids. So as per usual, you can download the files here and then watch the video to do the tutorial. And then we have a second one, a second tutorial for you here. Fill text with video using track mats. So this will give you the opportunity to add text and do some interesting features with it using the track mat feature in After Effects. Once again, there's your files, and that's the video to watch. Okay, so we've got a couple videos to watch. Also, you should be up, if you're doing a chapter a week in the book, you should be up around chapter 12. There's only a couple chapters left after that in the book. By the way, just as a reminder, one of the last chapters, I believe, is about rendering video, which is what you've been doing all semester. So if you hit that chapter or that section of a chapter, it's not really necessary to do that exercise at the end of the book because you've already been doing that all semester, so you can skip that. If you're behind on the chapters, please catch up. Remember that part of this class is doing all the chapters in the book and uploading them to your Google Drive folder. So if you haven't had a chance to work on that, please do. Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about is the project that I assigned on Monday, which is Project 3. And just going up to Monday's post here, I'm asking you to create a 2-minute long After Effects project that describes a way we can improve the post-pandemic world. In other words, what are some of the positive changes we can try to make happen after the world has moved past this pandemic? So I'm asking you to use all the things that you can combine, all the media elements you can combine in After Effects. I give you an article that has some ideas. Here's a link to some free music, and I give you the project deadline. Now, today, what I'd like to do is talk about some ideas, give you a little more detail on ways that you can conceive of your project and then go out and do the research and get the media for it. So I've got a little PDF here that you can open up if you like and download, and I've also got it open in my computer, so I'll just go to the computerized version of it here. So the PDF is called Ideas for Project 3, and it's just an exercise to get you thinking about what your theme might be for Project 3 and then where you can get the resources to put your project together. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is, what's your theme? And of course, the assignment is to do a project about something positive that could result from the pandemic situation. So what are some possibilities? Well, the world could rally and provide more support for, feeding people and for healthcare. We could use this as an opportunity to focus on other causes like environmentalism. The shift from in-person to computerized type of work and education could lead to more opportunities. We could perhaps demand more transparency from governments and more sympathetic governments, sympathetic to the plights of the people. There could be new physical job opportunities, such as home delivery services, that result from this sort of state change in the world where, the way we live and work is changing. And it could produce closer ties between friends and families who have to isolate together um, in order to protect themselves. Um, okay, so which theme should I pick and what assets will I need to do my project? Well, let's just say, for example, you decide to focus on increased online opportunities for work and education. So, what type of media could you use to tell your story? You have to think about what type of music or score will be appropriate and where will you get that. And for example, there was the link I put on the website for some free music. Let's see, right here, free music for your project. So that is one opportunity for media. Um, and then, where are you going to get your video? What about your photos? Are you going to use websites like VidEasy or Unsplash to get your photos, freeimages.com, etc.? What about stock graphics? Will you use those? Will you use vector graphics from vecteezy.com or one of the clip art sites? Are you going to hand make your own graphics? Where are those resources going to come from? And then also, what style of animation will you use? Will you use just realistic photographs, or do you want to take kind of a cartoony approach and a humorous approach to this to sort of lighten the mood, even though it's a very serious subject? And of course, what types of transitions are you going to use? Are you going to fade to black? Are you going to use things called screen wipes or other film type of techniques? Are you going to do jump cuts where you just go from one scene to the next? Those are all considerations in how you put your project together. Now, other things to think about are your audience. So, who's most likely to watch your presentation? Assuming that you were doing your presentation for, to be broadcast on television or on the internet. So, who would watch this information about online opportunities for work and education? Well, certainly high school and college age people would be interested. People who maybe were put out of work by the pandemic situation might want to know what their opportunities are, and even those who are just curious about changes in the world. So, there's probably more audiences than this you can think of. These are just a few examples. Um, and once you have identified your demographic or your audience, what do you think they want to know? Well, college students want to know how will they continue their education, and high school students, or even people who are in the workforce who want to do continuing education, like get a master's degree. What financial resources are available? So, what about the stimulus programs can be taken advantage of for people who are going to school? Are there financial resources that will help you get a computer, or that will help you upgrade your internet, or help you with housing or food? And how will I get a job when I graduate? So, what's happening? How is the job situation transitioning now in this new work environment? Okay, and what kind of research will you do to support your project? Will you go out and read articles on the internet about the topics? Perhaps you could call and email professors and students to get their experiences, or even people at workplaces. And can you use stories from your own experience to tell, you know, uh, your story? If certainly you're in this, this particular theme we picked, which is about the focus on work and education, you're certainly in that demographic yourself. So your stories, which are always, your experiences are always valid, but they might be particularly poignant in a story about online work and education after the pandemic. And finally, what conclusions will you reach? What's the point of your project? Is it just to ask questions without really giving answers so that people can make the answers themselves? Or are you going to try and point them to resources that kind of help answer the questions for them? So these are some of the things that you can consider when putting your project together. Now, of course, it's wide open. You can pick any topic you want. You don't have to pick the ones that I'm mentioning here. Everything on this page, it's just a set of examples to help spur you and your mind and the ideas that you want to come up with, and then how you're going to support those with different media and the way you're going to go about putting your presentation together. Okay, so once again, just to summarize and wrap up, um, we're working on Project 3, a brand new project. If you haven't turned in Project 2 yet, please do so and send me an email that is in your folder so I can look at that. I'll be doing grading on these as I have the opportunity, and I'll let you know when the grading's done. Um, please go ahead and just as a reminder, do the tutorials and keep up on your chapters, and then start working on project 3, putting your ideas together. Right here is the PDF of what we just looked at, so you can download that and use that hopefully to spur some ideas. And then if you have any questions, if you want to send me an email, like, hey, do you think this is a good idea for a project? Or I have this idea, but I don't know where to go to get information or media for it. Feel free to interact with me if you like. I'd be happy to answer your questions. Okay, so that's what I have for you today. I hope you have a good day and a good week, and I will talk to you again on Monday. Thanks, and goodbye.